And we are live.
All right, good night, Cayman. Good night. Welcome to
Hello,
Real Talk.
good night, everyone. I think we're just getting comfortable on this live right now.
We are. Welcome to Real Talk, Love and Lies, a late night space where we strip away the Instagram filters, the polite face, and the everything good small talk, and we get honest about love, sex, dating, and the lies we tell ourselves and each other. This show is about the real stories behind relationships, the messy, the complicated, the funny, the painful, and sometimes the downright ridiculous parts. Here we're going to talk about cheating and trust, side chicks and secret lives, situationships, heartbreak, healing, masculinity, femininity, money and power in relationships, and all the quiet compromises people make just to feel love. I'm Alfred.
And I'm Matilda.
We're your hosts. We're not relationship experts or therapists. We're just people who've lived, made mistakes, asked hard questions, and want to open up a real conversation with Cayman and the wider world. On this show, we'll share stories, unpack dilemmas, laugh at the madness, and sometimes challenge the things we've always accepted as normal. Real Talk, Love and Lies is adult conversations after dark, honest, unfiltered, and respectful, a place for confessions, questions, and uncomfortable truths about understanding why we love the way we do, why we stay, why we leave, and why we lie. If you've ever looked at your love life and thought, how did I end up here? This show is for you. Matilda?
I'm here and I'm ready for it. What's the topic for this evening?
Well, I was kind of thinking about this whole side piece culture here in Cayman, and how it works on a little rock where everybody is separated by 2 degrees of separation, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does side piece mean to you? What's a side piece? What comes to mind when you hear the word side piece?
So it's so funny, right? Because I don't think I've ever been a side piece. And I don't think, but you never know. And that's the funny part about this thing, right? But a side piece to me is someone who is on the side of a committed relationship. So there's a partner who's in a committed relationship who has somebody outside of that committed relationship. But I think the thing that we're getting really clear on is that it's non-consensual, right? This is not polyamory, and this is not swinging. This is not partner swapping or anything fun like that. This is where someone's actually being lied to, or lied to by omission in some cases, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and it's so funny because this has existed for a long time. We talk about these things as if they're new. We talk about these things as if they are a part of a new generation that has become less conservative over time. But if you ever spend any time on Ancestry.com, you find out things that you're not really supposed to know, that the old people didn't want you to know, and you realize that side pieces have been around for a long time.
But what I find is that, in Cayman, relationships different though, Some of us in love, some of us in denial, and then some of us are in relationships we don't even know about.
Well, that's a whole other evening.
You ever talk to somebody, right? And in your mind, you're thinking, oh, we just chatting, you're just being friendly. Next thing you know, you see a post up on Facebook. Oh, I'm so thankful for this man. He's been here for me through it all. And it's your picture from 2 conversations and one ride to Foster's. Huh?
Yeah, but it wouldn't be
people will promote you to partner without your consent.
But you see that I don't know why you have some strange things that happen to you, huh? I've never
not to
had
me.
that happen to me.
Certainly not to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, like I've seen that particularly with women, where but I've seen it with men as well, but it's never happened to me, where they read something into a casual conversation, or they see niceness as an advance. You know, like as you making an advance, just being
Mm-hmm.
decent to them is, and you
Mm-hmm.
immediately are like, oh my goodness, they must like me. Oh my goodness, I need to pay attention. But that we kind of
Mm-hmm.
straying off the topic right now. What does a side piece mean to you?
I mean, I think you kind of hit it off. Hit it off the. Um, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. We're not talking about people who are in a consensual, you know, 3+ relationship. I mean, we're talking about deception, people not knowing, or people knowing. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
the side piece knows, but the main person doesn't know, and like it's a behind the scenes kind of kind of clandestine, hidden kind of thing. One thing I do know about that thing in Cayman is that it's a big thing in Cayman, and people don't like to talk about it.
I see
And
the
what I don't
comments
get,
coming in about how
what
we exposing people's nasty dirty ways.
what is that?
I just see a comment coming in about how we exposing people who getting exposed for their nasty dirty ways.
Boy, Johan, you better be careful, Nana. You might open up that
Oh,
can of worms.
oh my
But
goodness. No, actually, that's one of the
I
rules,
just
right? We're not identifying anybody. Whenever we open the phone lines for calls, we are not going to be identifying anybody by name. We're not talking people business here. We're talking about the concept.
yeah, anonymous. I mean, we don't want to catch a lawsuit or anything. So yeah, everything's going to be very impersonal, very anonymous. I mean, if you want to call in and tell your stories, then you're free to do so. Um, but out of um, what I don't understand here is that for an island so small, right? We don't like to talk about these things out in public. It's like an open secret, and I don't
Mhm.
understand. Hey man, you can have. I mean, is privacy really a thing here when everybody is really separated by 2 degrees?
Well, you see, I think privacy exists in places like this very intentionally. I grew up in the village, right? So we are no longer children of the village so much. Now we are children of towns, and either you're from the east or you're from the west or whatever. But like the village of Bodden Town, the village of Central Georgetown, the village of East End, these villages had like their own character, their own personality, but you would be surprised at how many secrets were kept by the village. Everybody in the village knew that that wasn't your daddy, or everybody in the village knew that your granny was doing X, Y, and Z, but nobody would say it to you. And I've seen that happen so many times where, like,
Wow,
you know, I
wow,
like, for instance, I had a classmate that had a brother that didn't know that they had a brother, but we all knew that that was their brother. And so one day I mentioned,
wow.
and of course I go be the one to put my foot in my mouth. I mentioned to the person, "Well, is not so and so your brother?" And they're like, "I've never heard of that person in my life." Turned out years later they came to me and said, "Yeah, yeah, turns out that was my brother." So 2 degrees of separation is one thing, but we've always been able to. It's so weird because even though people were always up in people's business, we were also minding our own business in certain places. There's certain things that you just did not intrude on.
And it's
I
like, Cayman's so small. Your relationship is never just your relationship. It's like a whole community event. Your aunt in it, your best friend in it, the lady from church in it,
I think you
two
got
people
control over
in your
that though.
workplace in it. Huh?
You have control over that though. It's the boundaries
Ah,
that you set. It's the boundaries that you and your partner set. If that partner don't set the same boundaries, if you're not aligned on the boundaries, then that's a whole other problem. But once again, I think we might be straying just a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know. I think we don't have privacy. We just have delay. The business not out yet. We just buffering.
But it's not everywhere.
I don't know. It's something special about this rock. It's something special about this rock.
You
But
say that. I used to work in a corporate place years and years ago. Probably I say this is a good 10 years maybe ago. And there was a young person that came here from like Canada or the UK or something, and they came here married. and they came to get away from whatever was going on. And they were saying that they wish somebody had warned them coming here that this is where like their relationship would come to die. Like this place tests relationships. But I found that to be so strange because having lived anywhere else, you're gonna see similar problems in other places. Just that people bring things here thinking that this is paradise and that nothing bad can happen here, but things been happening here for generations.
Yeah, boy. Well, if it been happening here, let's talk about some red flags.
Yes.
Like, let's
Like
talk
how
about
do
some
you
red
know?
flags.
Yeah,
Because
how do
for
you
me,
know?
like, if he telling you that, oh, he not ready for something serious, but he park outside your work every day at lunchtime, and he know your whole schedule and your coworkers' names, and he know which one of your coworkers you don't like, then I
Hmm.
can't. And that's a man in a relationship he refusing to admit to. He don't
Fair
want
enough.
commitment, but he commented to monitoring your movements.
Yeah, and to me that's control, right? And I could give you another one where he does not want, he tells you he does not want to have a relationship. And I don't know why we're focusing on the men here because the women are just as interesting.
I think
But
women sneakier than men.
well, I gotta come back to that. Please hold that because I gotta come back to that. I read something about that the other day. So the thing is that another red flag for me is that they say they don't want a relationship, but if they see you speak to another man,
Aye,
something wrong with that man. There's something wrong with him. He's soft. He's
aye.
not smart. That's an idiot.
Mm.
Or they have something bad to say about every man that you come into contact with. That's a red flag for me.
So what are we thinking? Like if she say, "Oh, I'm private, but I don't like people in my business," but somehow the whole island know that you and her talking. To me, that's not more like public relations than privacy. She not private. She just not posting you.
Yeah, and then super private is also a bit of a red flag because if I can't find you anywhere on social media, right? And I talking to you, Alfredo, right now. If
But
I can't
till
find you
that,
on social media, I'm like, what that person running from?
Mel 89 says, "Boundaries, Matilda. My relationship is mine, and my partner is not auntie's or the community."
I hear you. You set them boundaries and nobody mess with you, especially if they're afraid of you.
Well, how about this far red flag? Um, you and your partner argue heavy at home, right? I mean, we
Mhm.
talking voices raised, tears, slamming door, cussing. But the minute I go out in public, you're smiling like the governor at a ribbon cutting ceremony. You're there in Foster's holding hands, like both on a Hallmark card. And both, you just cuss out each other in the parking lot over who forget to take out the garbage.
But you see that right there, no, that's not a red flag of a side piece to me.
You don't think
That
so?
for me is a common assault. You see that a lot in married relationships. So like I know people that they cuss each other constantly, and I mean dirty cussing, and I mean tear down, uh, some of the nastiest things that people can say to each other. But I dare you say something about them, one of them to the other. And so there's a nature of relationships that is so strange because I feel like every person is unique, right? And then every relationship is unique. But there's certain standards and those people don't sometimes they don't see that as a red flag. If they don't have that argument, they feel like that person don't love them.
Mm,
But that's toxic. That's a
mm.
toxic conversation. That's not necessarily a side piece conversation.
Well, what
Tell me
about
some
this?
more red flags. I know you got a good little bag of them right there.
All right, well, let's see here now. All right, how you think about this one, right? So
Hmm.
you've been talking to somebody for months, right? On a
Hmm.
link in Netflixing, eating food. You know his favorite order from Chicken Chicken, but you never once see inside his actual home. You're always meeting him in the parking lot, at the beach, under a tree, one corner behind Hurley's. At some point, you gotta ask, this does this man actually live anywhere?
He live with his
Because
mama.
sometimes no fixed address really code for there's a wife and two children inside.
That could be there's a wife and two children, but if you see if you're out there with him now and his phone not ringing, then that just means he live with his mama.
Oh shit.
That doesn't mean he that's failure to launch. Or, but house prices are rough, so I understand that too. So, It
Well, can't do anything about that.
prolongs the launch, right? So the runway is longer and longer. But if the phone is constantly ringing, oh yeah, I call them later. Oh, this girl is crazy. That's another one. Oh, this girl is crazy. She keeps calling me. Those are the
Mm,
ones that I now that is like ultra red flag for me.
mm.
Mm-hmm.
So what you say about the ones that like to take a picture together, and when she take out her phone, all of a sudden he turned into witness protection client. Nah, babe, don't post that. Nah, I don't like social media. Nah, people too mix up. But this same man in every brunch video in the background with three different people snaps, two TikToks, and one CMR clip at Pirates Week. What do you think about that? He not hiding from the
Everything
public.
three,
He
four,
hiding from
five.
somebody specific. That what that sound like to me.
Oh man. Oh, we got one coming in. Tashi British say, oh no, the men are more sneaky and they never married until you find out.
I lie, I tell Tashi British.
Listen, I
Men
got
get this,
something on that one.
women
Remember, we're
slick.
supposed to come back to this though, Fredo. They
Women
say
slick.
that when a woman cheats, she's done. But when a man cheats, that don't mean he's necessarily done.
Well, I mean, I
So
can kind of.
it was just sit with it for a second. Just sit with it before you move on from it,
Okay.
right? Because
All right, all right, all right, all
it
right.
was an interview with a therapist, and they asked her. It was like I can't remember what it was on that I was watching one day, and she was speaking to the question was, in your experience in marriage counseling, etc., who cheats the most? Is it men or is it women? She said that it's not that men or women cheat more. It's just that when a woman cheats, it means she's done. That means that she is out. She's just working out the logistics. It's a matter of time. However, when a man cheats, he expects to come back home and be okay and restart right where he left off. And I wonder
Do
about
you
that. I
think?
really
Do you?
would like to hear that from callers or from the people in the comments. Is that so?
Well, I want to ask you, like, do you think that's because for men, I guess it's just how men are wired. Not that it's commendable, but do you think that it's because for men they're more easily able to divorce sex from emotion than women?
I don't think that's necessarily the case. I
You
don't
don't
think
think
that's
so?
necessarily, no, I don't think it's necessarily the case. I think what happens is that men, when they end relationships, they often end it and then grieve. Whereas women will grieve the relationship before they end it because they want to be 100% sure before they walk
Mm,
out.
okay,
You see
I
what I
see.
mean?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm,
I think it's more about how we do endings rather than, and I think that is something that has been used to excuse men's behavior, right? About, oh yeah, well, sex means nothing to us. This and that to me is not true. And I know many men for whom sex is sacred. I don't believe that is the case. I think that's just been an excuse.
mm. Well, Johan says, FYI, lunchtime moves are not a relationship. It's called boning in your best Caymanian accent. Hashtag Jesus.
Jesus, take the wheel. Oh, Johan.
Oh boy.
Johan been waiting up for this show to start now.
Oh, him and
Mm.
plenty people apparently.
Oh, that's not a bad thing. We love
Him and
that.
plenty.
We love
Yeah, we
that.
love it. Yeah,
Bring
we
the
know.
mix up.
Yeah, bring the mix up. Bring the mix up. But yeah, I mean, like red flags. Like if you look at the pattern, you start to realize something, right? They're not random. They all point to the same place. Secret relationships, half relationships, quarter relationships, unofficial but very much active relationships, right?
Secret
Like we dress it
children.
up with pretty names, but let's call it what it is, right? It's a lot of people are playing main while somebody else quietly in the background playing side, right? Or worse, a lot of people know that they are the side and they're cool with it.
But I don't know if
Right?
that's worse, right? So let's talk about that,
You don't
right?
think so?
See, I'm ambivalent about this. It's not
Let's
something I would
go.
choose. It's not something I would choose, and it's not something that I would allow in my relationship or tolerate, right?
Right.
However, thank you, Tashi. my my view of this is I can see why some women would choose to be aside. Oh, and I was telling you earlier on about this guy that I know that he calls himself a side man. He calls him, and I will quote it. He calls himself a side nigga. That is his job in life. He don't want to be anything else but that. And why do you not want to be anything else but that? Because there's no expectations on me. I just get to have fun, and she don't have to feel pressured about as this becoming anything. I don't have to feel pressured. We just do the thing and get on with our lives, and we can be friends and we can be cool, but we don't have any expectations. So that was his explanation. But I can see why women would too. So imagine you're getting your nails paid for, you're getting contributions to your household. You don't have to wash his clothes, you don't have to clean after him, you don't have to worry about setting up his appointments to see the doctor, you don't have to take care of his children unless you volunteer for that particular heartache. You don't have to do any of those things, and you're just going to be able to take the benefits. You can see why somebody would do that.
Well, I
I
mean,
know
I
you're
look at,
gonna fight me on this one, because I'm gonna be the devil's advocate for the side pieces, even though I'm not one.
well, I mean, I like what possible, I mean, okay, so like the side pieces, all right, fine, yeah, side piece. What kind of what kind of benefits you getting from it? Like the occasional KFC or Blackbeard's dinner,
Well,
random
you don't know what happening behind doors. There
access
might
to a
be some
car
good
that not
stuff.
really his, it's his cousin's own. 2 hour blocks of attention, premium membership that includes one semi-romantic East End drive per quarter. I mean, like, I don't understand.
But
Like,
you
what?
making it sound like that and nothing. Sometimes that's all people want.
Nah,
I
man, set your price
sometimes that's
high.
all
Set your
people
price high.
want.
Nah, man, nah, man, nah, man. I
Sometimes
don't
that's
know what
all people want,
this
and
life is about.
maybe her life. And I'm speaking as a woman now, right? Maybe her life is so full that she don't need anything else but that.
I think it's a sad day any woman settle for that, or any man for that matter.
I hear you. And I tell you, the part that would stop me from something like that would be the hurt that it would cause for the person. I feel like that's bad karma.
Mm.
But you can see the attraction to something casual. And a guarantee of something casual is somebody that has obligations elsewhere.
Uh,
Fight me.
I
Fight
don't know.
me.
Yeah,
I good for it. Let's go.
I don't know. I don't know. I
I
don't know.
know. I know. It's
For me,
not a life
for
that I
me,
would choose. It wouldn't make me comfortable, and it's not something that I would accept as a partner.
yeah.
But
I
hey,
mean, for me, it's like there's so much there's so much damage. Like I mean, yeah, like we joking now, right? Like the excuses we making, they're fun, or like oh, I didn't know he was married, or he told me that they separated, or I knew I should leave, but I still here. But I mean, for real people, those are coping mechanisms, I think. And like that's how they explain it to themselves while they staying in something that's really hurting them, right? Because there's an emotional part for this whole side chick side man situation. It always starts off light. Oh yeah, we just fun, yeah, no feelings, I don't have no responsibilities, yeah, I know I doing.
it don't always
And then
start
what
off as
happens
funny,
6 months
because
later?
I think it usually starts out without them knowing.
Yeah, but you're telling me now that this person in your example, they're okay with it. That's all what she have in her life is, she has a lot going on in her life. She just wants something casual. And I'm
Well,
saying
maybe
that
that's how it started
starts
out,
off like,
something casual. She only found out like halfway through that, okay, he has a wife at home. That's why it's casual on his side.
yeah, but then what do you do then?
But I tell you what, the part that cracks me up is when he then starts to get possessive of the side piece. Now that one sweets me, because I have
Hmm.
never seen a man's heart break the way that a man's heart break over a side piece.
Well,
That move
I
on.
think men's heartbreak is a real thing that we don't talk about enough, but that's gonna be for another topic another day. Period. Whether side piece or main piece or whatever,
Hmm.
or two piece and a fries, whatever. Right. But it's like no. But I was saying, that there's an emotional part to this whole thing. Like yeah, it start off light. You find out that because I mean, there's some people who find out that they're the side piece, but they're okay with it.
Yeah.
Like you said, your friend, like
Or
you
they
said with your
grieve over it.
right.
Yeah. Or they grieve
But
over
then
it, and then they come to peace with it.
yeah, but then 6 months later, you're waking up with your chest tight because he hasn't replied to in 3 hours, and then you there telling yourself, "Oh, I'm not supposed to feel this way." This wasn't the agreement, but your heart didn't get that memo, right? You can't half attach your feelings. You can't just say, oh, I
Yeah,
catching
but
just a
some
little bit
people
of
do
feelings.
though. Some people do, Alfred.
Mm.
Some
Love doesn't
people,
come in sample
some people,
size,
no, hear
Matilda.
me out. Some people get exactly what they need out of that, and they actually catch themselves before they feel anything and move on. Sometimes that's the agreement, and sometimes they just fade off into the sunset because they're not losing anything because they weren't attached in the first place. You'd be surprised. Like there's so many variations to this. The one that I don't understand is when the wife knows or the husband knows
And what, they just accept it?
and they just accept it and it's continuing. And they're like, oh, we just don't talk about that around the dinner table. You know?
Well, for me, I think like, I think for that, right? Like, I think a lot of women will, those that know and accept it, right? I
Hmm.
find that women tend to look more for security in a relationship. And I sort of feel, I mean, you're a woman, you can tell me what your expertise is, but from my viewpoint, it looks like women look more for security in a relationship from a man. Can provide her with
I think that
emotional
is
security. I think she was settled for. So, for example, it looks something like this. All right, here, well, you're out there with your woman. I'll accept it, but here, well, you better make sure that my hair is, I got money to do my hair, my nails, I got all the jewelry I want, I drive the car I want, I can go around, because I'm the wife, I'm Mrs. So and so, I'm Mr. So and so's wife.
yeah, but
Um,
Alfred,
there
I
are women
disagree
who
with
will
you.
accept that as long as they're discreet about it, but I don't think that
I
a woman
disagree with you.
have to.
Women are no longer looking for security. Women
You don't think
are the
so?
security. In
Say that
my
again?
experience, women are the security in their relationships, and the majority of relationships in Cayman, the women are the ones that are secure. What they're looking for is emotional safety more than anything else. And I don't know when the tide turned, but you go take a look. Take a look at around your peer group, right? And the
Mhm.
women that you know. How many of them need a man for security? And then
Well,
take a
a
look
lot of women on this
around at
island
the
with low
men
self-esteem.
that actually need a woman for security. And what do you see?
I mean, I get your point, but I mean, you also got a lot of women out here that that's exactly what they're looking for, and then you got a lot of women with low self-esteem too. Like they have to have a man.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that, but that's a different thing from security because women are now
Is it
building the
though?
table, setting the table, putting everything on the table. All the
Yeah, I
man has to
know,
do is
I
sit
know, I know.
down.
Yeah, what do you mean? I am the table. Yeah,
Like
I heard
Johan
that
coming, you know.
one.
Oh my goodness.
I heard that before.
Matilda does not understand hombres, testosterone, and the male ego, etc. Tell me what I don't understand, Johan. Tell me. Tell me the things.
Johan, give us a call.
I dying for Johan to call.
Hmm. No, man. Mm-mm. But then what about the public side of it though? Because there's also a public side to this whole side piece thing, right?
Mhm.
Remember, came on small, and things don't stay private for long. It's one thing to get your heart broken in silence, and it's another thing to get your heart broken and your business goes viral, right?
And I think that's more prevalent today because of the tools that we have to go viral with. That's the freaky thing. Like you can get caught on a security camera,
Well, you
or like
remember
those
that
people
woman?
that got caught at that Coldplay concert the other day, and it turns out that the woman's husband was also at the Coldplay concert with somebody else. And I was like, well, that sounds like an arrangement, but
What you remember that it happened right here in Cayman. The woman who she see the man out in the van with the side woman, and she just rammed right into him.
oh yeah, yeah.
She come out the car, and then she was like trying to get to the side woman in the car, and the husband was like defending the side woman and stuff. You remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. And I
All
listen,
right.
I've seen husband beat up wife over side woman and all of that. There's some strange things. We got a viewer question. I need some advice. Oh,
I've been dating a man for almost a year, and everything seemed perfect until last week when I found out he has a whole girlfriend he lives with. He told me their relationship is basically over and he hasn't just moved out yet because of finances. He's begging me to stay and says I'm the one he really wants. Should I believe him or cut my losses and walk away? I feel hurt, embarrassed, and confused. What would you do if you were in my shoes?
Okay, as a woman,
Ah,
I got a good
yeah,
answer
you
to
go
this one.
first. Mm,
And there's a peaceful way to deal with this, and there's a very direct way to deal with this. The peaceful way would be to wrap yourself in your dignity, delete his
yes,
number and block him, and
yes.
never let him darken your door again. However, if there's a shred of you that really believes that it's a possibility that this is the truth, ask her.
Mm,
Go and ask her.
mm,
Listen, if somebody had come to me before I ended my last relationship while it was on the rocks and said to me, this guy has made a move on me and I'm very interested in him, and he tells me that his relationship with you is over, what would I do? Tell
I
her,
guess you
listen,
go.
man, he free, take him, please
Mm.
take him off my hands. You understand?
Yeah, but then
It
why?
might
Yeah,
not
but
end up
then
being an
why?
altercation.
Yeah,
It
but
might
then
not,
why
you
should
know.
she? Why should decide? Why should this woman have to go to the girlfriend? Like she
No,
don't own
she don't
it.
have
To me,
to.
I would say to the viewer who sent this question in, thank you for your question, by the way. I would say, look, like you close one door before you open another one. I'm not going behind the other woman to find out if on a real and done, like you say,
No,
wrap
I
yourself in your
accept that.
dignity and
I
move on.
accept that there are economic realities. Not everybody can move out of their house immediately. So I completely understand it's a possibility that that could happen, right? Where you're living in two separate rooms in the house. I know people that live like that now. It's very possible. So it could telephone thing will mash up your life. I know. But if you feel like he's telling the truth, have him arrange that meeting, set that up if that's true. Let's all have this conversation around the table. Are you really single? He can't do it? Well, that then story mash up.
Yeah, but which woman gonna do that now, Aniki?
One that really loves him, which would not be me. I would be wrapping myself in my dignity and my self-respect and acknowledging that there is a whole ocean of people out there.
Mm, uh, I don't know. I kind of
You
think.
know what? You say that until you're in that situation, because I say all
Mm,
these things, but the truth is that sometimes you just do things do it for the memoir. You just try things out for the memoir. This show gonna mash up some sneaky links. No, we not talking people's business. Johan, Cayman is
Cayman
expensive.
is
Girl. Show
expensive,
some
girl.
empathy and patience. Judge not, yet ye be judged. Yes, exactly, Johan. I'm saying that. You and I are agreeing. Cayman is an expensive place. If you can't dip right now, that's okay.
Nah, yeah. I just feel like Tella, close one door before you open another one.
Yeah, I think that's a clean way of doing things. I just don't know
Close
that
one
it's
door before you
always.
open another. Don't do that, right?
But it's so funny
But
because I actually said to my ex, I actually said it to my ex, go out and find somebody. Go find somebody. And if they don't believe you, just tell them, call me, see me, say I'm right here. You have me in the phone as such and such. They'll know exactly who they're talking to, and I will give you your blessing.
yeah, but
Never
then
did
what
it though,
about the yeah, but then what? But you see this whole side piece situation, right? Okay. There's the emotional side, there's the public side, but then there's also a very ugly side. We talking about fights, confrontations.
No, I
I
never
just
love
told
a man
you
that
about
much that I go fight for him.
this is when the emotional hurt turns into physical action.
Yeah.
Wives snap, husbands lash out, side chicks and mains confront each other. Sometimes it
Yeah.
turned sometimes it turned violent and we sitting online treating it like reality TV, but behind the
True.
scene it's
True.
somebody who reached their breaking point, right? I'm not saying
Hmm.
it's right now, I'm but just saying this is real. And in a small island, every incident comes with a long tail. You got to gossip, the rumors, the workplace whispering, the church whispering. You see her, that the one from the video, that the one. And you still
Yeah,
trying
but
to
yeah, I don't
keep
know
her
about
mind
that part because I believe
everywhere
that
you
people
go.
will forget. People will forget as soon as you do. The more you hold on to it and you carry it with your shame, people will follow you. But I would say to you though that you make a very good point. There's violence that is involved in it, right? And that's where I think that the dignity piece is important,
Mm.
right? The dignity piece is important. You should never love somebody else more than you love yourself.
Cameron says, on a taking calls or what? Yes, Cameron,
You
call
ready?
in 936-2626.
Waiting for you.
All right, we have another viewer question. I recently found out that my boyfriend has a woman he's been seeing on the side for over 6 months. The part that shocked me most is that she knew about me the whole time and still stayed with him. Now he's apologizing and saying he wants to fix things, but I can't stop thinking about the betrayal from both of them. Should I forgive him and try to rebuild the relationship, or is
No,
it to leave for good?
cut that
What say you,
loose.
Linda?
Cut that loose. I would say cut
Mm.
that loose. What do you think?
But I don't understand. She says betrayal from both. I mean, she made a commitment to him. She didn't make no commitment to you. So how is it a betrayal on her part to you?
Well, I think there might be like an expectation that a woman would not want to hurt another woman, but the truth is that's not a genuinely personal betrayal. You would feel betrayed by the person though because they participated in your hurt. But that's the part that I have a problem with. When you go and beat up the side girl, right? In those situations, that don't make no sense to me. She don't, yes, she might be up and pursuing your man, but that's just her nature. If that's gonna be if you're going to be attached to somebody who will engage in that, that is your problem. You need to make the choice as to what kind of standards you keep in your relationships, and not to say this person because clearly she's going through something, right? And that's a hard thing to go through when you just found out and it's been going on for a long period of time. That is not fun. That is true betrayal. You feel that in your gut. You wake up in the middle of the night wanting to throw up when you think about something like that. That's somebody who was willing to hurt you. They knew
Johan
that would
says,
hurt you.
Johan says,
And I
just
pay
say
you hand no
forgive. Be like
mind.
Jesus, not like Matilda.
Poor old Johan.
Oh, Johan.
Listen, if this person could do this knowing that it would hurt you, cut that loose. Because that means
Well,
that
no.
you forgive a person for that one time, the second it gonna happen again. Because it's almost like it's like Pringles.
Yeah, but I mean, like there were two parts to that question. For me, there were two parts to that question. She was talking about should I forgive the man? She said it felt like a betrayal from both, and I mean, not to get pedantic and lose the forest for the trees. I still
Mhm,
like the. I guess the girlfriend. Can we put the question back up? Yeah.
mhm.
Um, that my boyfriend has a woman he's been seeing on the side for over 6 months, right? She knew about me the whole time and still stayed with him, right? I mean,
That I would have reversed that. He stayed with her for 6 months. He chose to be with this side person for 6 months. Bun that, and we not about that life.
oh, I'm
Wrap
sorry. I read
yourself
that.
in
I'm
your
sorry. I read
dignity
that
and your
question completely wrong.
beauty.
Sorry. I read that question wrong. I thought the woman she was talking about was the main and she was the side. I'm so sorry. I read that wrong. Yeah, I agree.
No, she's
I
the
agree.
main.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I'm sorry. I read that wrong.
Cut him loose. He was willing
Cut
to
him
hurt
loose.
you. And you will never forgive him. And let
Yeah.
me tell you something I've seen, right? So people come back from this sometimes. They can come back from this, but it takes a lot of work. And not a lot of people are willing to do the kind of work that comes that will bring you back to that relationship where you're healthy again, because you're always going to be distrustful, or when is it going to happen again? And I also think that the person who cheats in a relationship once can do it again. Clearly that relationship is missing something, or they are not ready for it, or whatever it is. And I say it's like Pringles, once you pop you can't stop, and it gets easier with each time you are forgiven to come back and expect forgiveness again. So be
Well,
the lesson, right?
well,
And
well. Hold on now. Hold on. 'Cause I got
mhm,
challenged. Right? Cheating can happen for a number of different reasons, right? I'm not condoning it.
true.
I'm not promoting it. I'm not condoning it. It can happen for a number of different reasons, right?
Hmm.
Um, I don't necessarily um agree that, once a cheater, always a cheater, because I mean, if it happened once, and whether it's a man or a woman, if there's genuine remorse, babe, I'm sorry, and they're making efforts to
Something
be
has to
transparent
change.
with you. So I mean, like they have to show you, okay, look, I'm sorry that this happened. It was a moment of weakness, whatnot, but this is not going to do it again. So they might commit to, all right, let's go to counseling, let's go to therapy. All right, here's my phone. You have full and unfettered access to my phone. I'm going to be transparent with you with where I go and who I like. I think that if that
Yeah,
person
it takes work,
shows
and that's the
genuine
work we're
remorse,
talking
right?
about.
Like,
Hmm.
and I think that as a society, right, we're too quick. We're quick to say to the person, oh well, leave him and leave her. She not no good and he not no
No,
good.
I'm very quick
And,
for that. Yeah, and I
you
still and I
know,
stand by it. I stand by it because I tell you why. There are ulterior motives to staying as well as to leaving, right? So it is possible, and I have seen it in certain cases where somebody who has been cheated on stays for the wrong reasons. They stay to either punish that person for the rest of their lives or for as long as they are hurting, or they stay to because they feel like they cannot make it on their own, and so they feel trapped and have to stay, or they
mm,
stay because of like they want to be the one to cheat next. Now they have permission. There's so many reasons to not stay, right? But those are some really really creepy reasons to stay, and you don't even sometimes you're not even aware that that's why you're staying. Sometimes you're not even aware that that's what you're choosing until you actually stop and examine outside of your hurt. And sometimes it's years later you look back and say, oh, why did I stay? Why did I deal with that? And then there's a shame for having stayed that much longer, right? So yes, it needs to be changed behavior on the part of the person who has cheated, but also on the person who has been betrayed. There is a responsibility to own the next experience from a place of power. Like
mm.
you get to step away from that experience with a much more powerful position, which is why I start from the place of, and it's so funny because I thought you were going to be the devil's advocate on this one. I was going
I
to be
love
devil's
to be the
advocate on this
devil
one,
pro
but
bono.
I'm
No,
the
I
hard
love being
line
the
on this
devil
one.
pro bono.
Yeah. So my view on it is that and this is why I'm so like direct, leave because the amount of work that is going to take for you to recover from 6 months of continued action. This is not a oh, I went to a bar room and I bumped into my ex or whatever and it was a one night something. This is 6 months of continuous action.
Well, but to
Six
the to
months though.
but
I
to the other
understand 2 weeks. I understand like if you want you can consider staying after like consider doing the work to stay after something that was a single indiscretion or a short indiscretion because clearly this was somebody who was acting out of character, but 6 months, that is in character at this point.
well, but hold on. But let's talk about now. Okay, let's talk about the side woman, because she was the one that, according to the viewer, Matilda,
She knew.
the other woman knew and was fine with it, right? So that other woman, she's probably thinking along the lines of, well, it's less responsibility for her. She doesn't have the responsibilities of the main woman.
You never
She got
know.
other
She
parts
probably
of that
taxing him
commitment.
too. That's another thing that happens in
Exactly.
Cayman.
Right? It's a big ego boost because, oh, well, he have a whole wife or he have a whole girlfriend and he chose to risk it all for me, or, she got a man home, but
Or he
still
puts
come.
money down at CUC.
But he's, right? Or at least I'm not alone, because they got some women who, out of a fear of loneliness, like they're fine with being the side piece. But, like, to those people in those positions, like I want to talk about, um, you know, the cons of
Mm-hmm.
accepting that role. I mean, that's time that you will never get back, right? You can't get back the months or the years that you spent on waiting on soon. Oh well, um,
Mm-hmm.
the previous questioner, I think, was talking about, oh well, he said that he gonna leave her. Um, you know, soon I leave in, soon things will change, soon we'll be together properly. And there's some people who've been in side piece situations for years. Like you've given your best years, your best energy, your best body,
Listen, man, I
your
see
best
people
to a
be
person
married for 10 years
who
and had
never
a
had
side
that
piece for
concrete
20.
timeline or anything. And
Mm-hmm.
then when they finally make a decision, it's often not you, because especially if he married, it's cheaper to keep her, right? You know, and then you're in that emotional limbo. Like you never fully relax. You can't fully invest in this person because there's no stable ground. You can't fully detach either because your feelings are already deep. And you just sort of live in this halfway place. You're not single, but you're not taken. You're not public, but you're not fully private. You're just sort of floating in limbo.
But
Some nights you
Alfred,
feel special, some nights you feel disposable. And that inconsistency, that can't be good for your mental health. What you say about that, Tilda?
but there's something. I don't know, man. I agree with you. The, depending on what a person wants out of life, I agree with you. It's not a healthy place to be and to stay with, and there can be shame in it. So much shame to be that person. But there's a lot of people that come out of that have a very twisted view of life when that is all that they actually want. And I can also tell you, right? There are people I've seen. Listen, you made a very good point. Like he will, sure, he might leave his wife, but I don't mean he marrying you.
Mm,
And the wife, I have seen this happen too,
mm,
where you talk about living in this island with 2 degrees of separation.
yep.
You get to see some things growing up in a place like this. I've seen a person have a wife, cheat on that wife with multiple people, and tell each of those people that he leaving the wife. In the end, the wife leaves him, and he don't marry none of them people. He marries on the next
Hmm.
person
Hmm.
and cheats on them too. So, and I've also listen. There was a guy I went to school with. He never had just one girlfriend. Never had just one. Always had to have at least two, and sometimes there were three. And I could never understand it. I could never understand it. And I always wonder why that is. Is it that you don't want somebody to have power over you? Is it that for you don't want that if one leaves you are alone? Is so you what is it that inspires that, right? Because for some people that's just the way they live.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I
Cameron kept
just,
my talks in peace. Cameron,
Cameron,
I wait for Cameron to call.
Cameron, call us,
Can we
Cameron,
talk
nine
about
three
what
six
that
two
means?
six two
Because I
six.
feel like I dropped that in there and not everybody understands what that means. You know what toxin mean?
Tell us, educate us.
Alfred, you don't know what toxin mean, not true?
Me, I don't know everything.
Oh, God bless you. Okay, so there was a person that I grew up with that every time we all used to go out together as friends and stuff, right? And every time they had a girlfriend, I would see him just handing out cash. I'm like, what you doing handing out cash? Why you don't give me some? He said, boy, I swear I am always broke with these girls. I'm always broke. They just keep taxing me. And I was so surprised. But that is actually the language that men in that position use, where they are constantly dishing out money. And if the thing about this person was every time they were single, they had savings. Every time they were single, they had savings. As soon as they get a girlfriend, they broke. They looking lunch money.
Hmm.
Taxing. That's what taxing is. Jamaicans
Okay.
call it bupsing.
Oh, well, I know what boops is. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
boops.
Mm-hmm.
And people got boops for apartment, boops for light bill, boops for water
Yeah,
bill, boops for phone.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I know
Mm-hmm.
what that is.
Bupsing.
I know
Okay,
boops.
man, they call it tax.
But I just want to like I want to talk about this whole secret love is smaller love kind of thing, right? Because I mean, if you're a side piece and you're okay with that situation, like just bear in mind that secret love is smaller love. I don't care how intense
Ooh.
it feels when you're together. If somebody is saying to you, "Oh, I care about you, but just don't post me, don't call me at home, don't talk to me in public when I'm with my family," what they're really saying is you're important, but not important enough to risk my image, my comfort, and my main life. And that does something to your spirit because deep down, most of us want a love that isn't afraid to be seen.
I like that. I like that statement. Secret love is smaller love.
Secret
It
love is smaller
reminds me
love.
of that book, Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man.
Oh,
And
that what you name? What you name? The bald guy
I
that,
can't
that do
remember.
the game show.
Yeah, Harvey, Steve
Hi.
Harvey. He,
Uh-huh.
he used to say that men show love with three P's: provide, protect, and profess. And if you
Mm,
miss in the profess, you're not the only one.
mm.
So that's red flag number one. Hold on, we got a caller, or not a caller, sorry, a message. My cousin's boyfriend works at my workplace, and I've run into him a few times around the building with a specific colleague each time. They're usually seen in corners whispering by themselves. I suspect he's cheating with her because it just seems weird. Am I wrong to assume that they're up to no good? Should I pinch my cousin and tell her, or should I continue sipping my water and minding my business? She's not a very close cousin, but we are cool and have worked with each other for a few years and also talk to her well whenever I run into her, but it is not often. That's a very good question. At what point do you stop minding your business and support the person?
I got my views on that because I've been burned
Go.
by that
You go, because
before.
I try and figure out what I feel about that one.
I
Because
got.
I
I
know what
mean,
I
for
would do.
me personally, if something happening to me behind the scenes, like somebody with my main person, I want to know,
You
right?
want to know?
I
Mm-hmm.
want to know. I want to be informed, right? Because I like being in the know of everything. But I've been in a situation where, I saw something. I told a friend of mine what was happening, and I end up being
The
the
bad
one
guy.
that gets shot. I am because it
Mm-hmm.
happens, right? It's like, oh well, when two heads meet one pillow, it's like, oh well, Alfred tried to break us up, but we're stronger than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
Alfred,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like he's jealous and he just wants this and that, and all of a sudden now I become enemy number one, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. Like for me, I guess it would depend on the person, like how close I am to the person, and if I know that kind of thing. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not say something depending on if I know the person. I've been burned by that in the past years ago,
Well,
right?
I hear
And
you.
there's, and then there's also the thought
Yeah.
of going back to it it happens. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying that that this is it's right um or just or whatever, but it does happen. There's some people who, especially in higher circle, you'd be amazed, like people in like the higher echelons of society, the wealthy people, they live by a whole different set of rules that us
Mm-hmm.
plebs, we don't live by. Right? Like they'll have spouses that say, all right, you go off and you do your thing.
I don't think that is just about. I don't think that's just in the hairs. It's just that
Oh,
they're less.
I,
They're less cautious about keeping it secret.
they're less cautious about keeping a secret, you think?
I fancy so. Yeah, I think so.
No, man, I think they're a little more cautious about it because they be like, go out and do your thing, but be discreet about it. And, sometimes when you approach somebody and you like, oh, well, did you know? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like you don't know what kind of arrangement they have. You don't know if there's an arrangement going on. You
I
don't
will
know.
tell you this: arrangements exist at all levels of society.
Oh, well.
But I think arrangements are a very different thing from a side piece.
Cameron writes, love is not emotional, it's unconditional.
Yes, but relationships are not.
Mm.
Love is unconditional. Relationships are not.
No, I agree.
I can love somebody, I can love them to death and can't be in a relationship with them. A
I agree.
relationship is an agreement. Either you agree or you don't. But there's also something to be said for, okay, so I have seen we have not talked about this yet, right? But I have seen in a number of circumstances in the past, a person who is in an abusive relationship gets into a relationship on the side when they're at their weakest in order for them to build the strength to leave. Discuss.
I'm gonna let you lead the charge on that one, Tilda.
So I've seen it, right? And I remember there was a girl that I knew years ago that used to talk about, oh, so and so's wife didn't come home last night, and it was only later that we found out that so and so's wife did not come home that night because so and so had pushed wife down the stairs and almost killed her, and she did not feel safe at home.
Oh
So she
wow.
found a place to be. Like that's the kind of like, you know, I have seen the side piece be a support system for a person who needs to leave. Now that is not a healthy thing at all. Like everything about that is unhealthy. But you could see somebody who has a bit of a rescuer complex getting drawn into that type of situation as a side piece. Let me rescue them. And women do it. Women do it as well as men. Where he tells you how awful the wife is, and you then think that you are supporting him to heal, or the wife is actually really awful, and he is seeking support outside in order to build himself up. Because
But
relationships,
then don't you
listen,
train yourself to
when
accept
home is a
less?
battlefield, right? When home is a battlefield, you're just looking for a glass of water, just a glass of water to like be able to breathe and go back into fight.
Johan says Matilda gonna mash up enough people's situationship and relationship. Mind your business, lady.
I love situationships, Johan. I believe in situationships. I do.
Tisha says
But side
everybody.
piece is a different something.
Tisha says everybody knows what to do with a bad situation until they're in it.
It's true.
Hmm.
It's true. So that's why I'm like, I am so hesitant to judge the side person. I'm hesitant. I find it harder to be with that, but I can see why some people cheat. And I can also see why some people stay. I got another message. What if two persons are each other's side chick and are perfectly fine with it? Possibly no, they will never be a duo. It's absolutely nobody's business, in my opinion. Just saying.
Ooh. Um. Yeah. You want to take that one?
The one that I just read or the one on the screen?
Well, the one you just read.
I
Because
don't
I'm
know.
looking at the time.
Listen, what they call that? You know that song, Felice lo Cuatro?
Aye.
I don't know. It depends on where the other party is. Like, if you're okay with the karma, I've also seen partners like he knows she has a side man and she knows he has a side woman. So she calls up the side woman and says, "Can you keep him busy that night? Because I'm busy." Like, some people just work it out, right?
Yeah, but then I don't know. Like
Matilda sounds like she ready for war. No,
I don't
man.
know. That sound more like an
No, man.
arrangement than a side piece, man. The
That
side.
sounds more like an arrangement.
Yeah,
I, I, I
that sound
hear
like
what.
that drifting more into polyamory than it, which for another night, right? But last question before we sign off, because
Hold
it's
on, I
just
just got an answer to it. Karma, no, my love. It's called filling each other's gaps. I hear you. I could see that, and it depends on like if you can get that gap at home, if you can get that fill at home, or if you just know that stuff's not there. I like this one on the screen though.
so
You want to read that
you
one?
you want to
Um,
read it or you want me to read it?
that
I'm
one.
the one who cheated, and now I'm dealing with the fallout. I've been with my girlfriend for 3 years, but I started seeing someone else on the side a few months ago. I never planned it to get serious. I never planned for it to get serious, but now the side woman is threatening to tell my girlfriend because she wants more of a commitment. I know I messed up and I'm scared of losing everything. Should I come clean to my girlfriend before the side chick exposes me, or try to end things quietly and hope it dies down? You know what? Assuming that this is a man, be a man and get ahead of the narrative, because don't just end things quietly and hope it dies down, because your
It not.
girlfriend
It won't.
and like, what did I do, what happened, and sometimes that can drive a person crazy, so
Hmm.
you know
Well, I hear you. I mean, you say be a man, but I think it's more than that. There's something about and you know, I'm careful to say that, right? Because I feel like men are belittled by that statement too much.
In
And
terms of what?
in terms of like drawing on masculinity, and it and I think it feeds a lot of toxic masculinity. I think that this is a very sensitive question, and I think it's actually a very like you know, you have found out what you're dealing with. Like you have taken an adventure and it is not paying off, and this person is going to destroy everything. I think in these circumstances, it's a very quick lesson learned and it's a painful one. But yes, come clean and have the conversation, I think is probably the smartest thing. You get to choose, right? Either you come clean and the person gets to make the choice for themselves based on their relationship with you, or this person goes in and destroys everything you guys worked on. You're at risk of losing everything anyway. You have to own what you created in this space. Like you created it, like you own it, you created it, and clearly you are. Like clearly you're already owning it. I mean, the very statement is, "I am the one who cheated." You know, I think starting that conversation from that place of honesty, you have the potential to come back from that. I've seen people come back from that. Like, you know, I've seen families get built after that experience where you have, you know, you step out and then you've realized that you really did not want to step out because that person turns out to be a little crazier than you were ready for, and they start to like
Okay, let's
threaten you.
then Alfred, you do have a caller on the line.
Oh wow.
Oh, great.
Go ahead, caller.
Hi. I just wanted to ask though, but like, because you said, now that person on the side is threatening to destroy everything, but at the end of the day, that person on the side really, I mean, it's not their fault that you decided to step out. So really, the person destroying everything is the person who stepped out in the first place, not the side person threatening to tell the truth now.
Sandra, can we give this caller a kaboom?
Like
Excellent,
you
That's
as
true.
a
excellent
grown
point,
man,
caller.
Very
you
true.
as a grown man decided to get up and step out of your relationship. If you wanted to go adventuring, you could have done that while single and figured it out then.
Yeah, I hear you. I can hear that. I can hear that argument completely. You're 100% right. The person responsible for this is you. Not you at the caller,
Yeah,
but the person who actually put the comment up.
yeah, the person
You're
who
responsible
stepped
for it.
out.
Yeah. I
Can't
And
say I
hear
like
you.
disagree with the
like
caller.
to the statement about like being a man, I think that like when you say be a man in the context of like telling someone to be a man like in a toxic masculine sense, it's not okay. But when you tell someone to like
Man
be
up.
a man in the sense of be a man and do the positive thing, that's reinforcing be a man in a positive way as opposed to a negative way. So
Fair
I
enough.
Yeah,
think he could be a man and go tell his girl.
yeah. I mean that's what I was trying to get across, caller. It's that you made a choice. I mean now, I mean who goes into you thought it wasn't going to be serious, but now you made a choice. You see now, oh, you bit off more than you can chew. Now you're looking for the easy way out. No, I
Yeah,
think that
exactly.
get ahead of the narrative, own what you did, and just accept.
Well, there is no easy way out of that. There is no easy way out. Either you own it and you run it, or from a place of responsibility, or the person on the side will run it for you. Clearly.
Mm. Thank
All
you,
right.
caller.
Thank you. I just wanted to call in and say that.
Thank you,
Thank you
caller.
for
You're
that.
Thank
you're
you.
our
Very
first
good
caller
point.
for the show. Thank you.
Yeah, should get another kaboom.
Kaboom.
Thank you for calling.
Thank you.
I will say though, like I think where I was coming from, and I completely agree with the caller, and I stand corrected because you're right. The person who was cheated is the one who owed the partner a responsibility. And I also hesitate to be a woman saying to a man to man up. I'm careful not to do that because I find that it coming from me may be like belittling, right? But I understand what you're saying. Yes, and there are places for this. the place where I think I come from in this is how manipulative must you be as a side person getting involved with somebody who you know is in a relationship to turn around and threaten that person's relationship and make demands on that person to leave. Right? Like, you know what you were getting into. And there's just no win in that situation. No win in that situation. I just feel bad for the person who is being cheated on. It's really hard to deal with that.
Well,
You can come back from it if you own up and make sure that don't happen again. You learn your lesson. You got bitten in this one, and you should be okay. Work it out.
well, with that being said, I just want to close off our first episode for Real Talk, Love, and Lies. Before I close off, though, I just want to say one final thing to all of those listening that are inside situations themselves. So let me talk to you for a second before we go. I'm not talking Anne, not Cayman, not the group chat, just you, the person listening right now who knows that you're in a side situation. Maybe you never planned it. Maybe you swear you could handle it. Maybe you said, I know what I'm doing by not catching feelings. And yet here you are, checking your phone a little too often, feeling that little sting when they say, I can't talk right now, I'm with the family, watching them post a life you'll never be tagged in. I'm not here to shame you. You probably already doing that to yourself. I just want to ask you a few questions, and you answer them honestly in your head where nobody can hear you. When you lay down at night, do you actually feel chosen, or do you feel tolerated? When you picture your future, do you really see this person beside you in the open? Or do you feel this quiet dread that deep down you know this will end with you hurting? If your best friend came to you and described your exact situation, would you tell them, stay, this is good for you? Or would you tell them, you deserve better than this? So why is it that your standards are higher for them than for yourself? I'm not saying you have to leave tonight. I'm not saying you're stupid if you stay. What I am saying is, can you at least stop lying to yourself? If you want to stay, fine, but say the truth. I'm choosing to be the side, and I know this will probably hurt me. If you want more, say that truth too. I'm scared to leave, but I know I deserve better than being hidden. You don't have to fix everything tonight. You don't have to become strong overnight, but you can take one step. Stop calling it complicated if it's actually just disrespect. Stop calling it vibes if it's actually breaking your heart slowly. You are not a leftover. You're not a backup plan. You are not a commercial break between someone else's real life. Even in a small island with a tiny dating pool, you still deserve a love that isn't ashamed to be seen with you. So if this episode hit you a little too close, take that as a sign. Not that you're bad, not that you're dumb. You're just human, and maybe you're ready for something different.
Uncle Alfred has spoken. I only got two little things to say on top of that.
All right.
We have time.
We don't, but go ahead.
All right, before we say goodnight, I have two little things to say. One is the Lord is not going to send you somebody else's husband or somebody else's wife. That's not how this thing works. That's number one. And number two, if what you are in as a side person, because I notice we're talking to the side people, we're not talking to the cheaters right now, because for some reason I feel like they, that's a whole
Let's
other,
make that
that's
another
a whole
topic.
other, the psychology of cheating is a whole
Yeah,
other episode.
let's make that a
right?
whole other topic.
But if you are the side person and you are in it for the casualness of it, consider that situationships with people who are fully available are also an option. You don't have to be getting your toes dipped into dirty karma to have your comfort and have your cake and eat it too. So peace be with you, and let's talk about all the mess next week.
Aye. And with that, everyone, this has been Real Talk, Love and Lies with your hosts, Alfred and Matilda. Tune in next week, Friday at 10 p.m. for our next topic. You won't want to miss that one. Good night, Cayman. Good night, world. And good night, Matilda.
Good night.